bienvenidos. Mujhe dekhne ke liye shukriya. My name is Zoya, and I would just like to start off by saying thank you to City of Alexandria for providing this amazing opportunity to share my dance and talk about Odissi some more. Today, you are going to be watching Beauty of Odissi, which is an hour-long Indian classical dance performance. There will be 3 dances, and in between, there are going to be videos that talk about the history of India, the culture of Odissi, and many more things. With me today is my good friend and co-host. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Kathy Baird, and I'm very happy to have this opportunity to introduce more people to an exciting young dancer who's grown up here in Northern Virginia. Zoya is a rising junior at Washington Liberty High School in Arlington and has recently completed her Mancha Pravesh, which is like a graduation from student dancer to being a serious dancer. She was originally scheduled to perform in person, but with the COVID situation, she's been recording some dances that will then give you an opportunity to see this beautiful sampling of classical Indian Odissi dance.
Thank you. So, to start off, normally with an Odissi dance performance, you would start off with the Mangalachan. This is a type of dance that is an invocation. Some gods that you would have that dance to are Lord Ganesh or Lord Jagannath. We are going to be focusing on 2 aspects of Odissi dance. There is the technique side, and then there's the storytelling side. As this is a YouTube premiere video, I will be in the live chat, and if you have any other comments or questions, I will be happy to answer them. Without any further ado, let's get started.
The first dance is called BATTU, which is a nritta. Nritta is a type of Odissi dance that is a pure dance. It focuses on the technique of the dance, and it has no story. It also doesn't have any lyrics in the song. Even though nritta dances don't have any sung words, there is still a refrain of rhythmic syllables spoken, similar to the English do, re, mi. Battu dance is considered a pure technical dance, as opposed to an expressional storytelling dance. Every dance student in training all over the world learns this dance piece, Battu. It features the basics or the fundamentals of Odissi dance. It shows how to use the choka position, which is the masculine stance, the Tribhangi position, which is the feminine stance, the power of the feet positions, the hand mudras, or hand gestures, and the grace of the torso movement. This dance is only taught after you know all of the basics of Odissi. This dance was created in the early 1970s by the esteemed Padma Vibhushan, Kelucharan Mohapatra. He was inspired by the carvings of dancing figures on the temple walls holding many different instruments. The many instruments used in creating Odissi music are woven into the actual dance Battu. This dance shows these instruments in many sculpturous poses that describe things like playing the drum, veena, basuri or flute, and the manjira or cymbals. This dance shows the intricacies of the sculptures adorning the temple walls and how it would look if they actually came alive today.
welcome back. I'm here having a nice little conversation with our dance star, Zoya. Zoya, can you give us a little historical and cultural context of Odissi dance?
Yes, Odissi is one of the oldest dances of the Indian classical dances. It started around 2nd century BC, and it's from an eastern state in India called Odisha.
Where would it be danced in Odisha traditionally?
Yeah, so it started in the temples, and because it started in the temples, it had a sort of religious movement to it. And a lot of the dances are an invocation to different gods, such as Lord Ganesh or Lord Jagannath. One thing that happened was when the British came and they had rule over India, they kind of suppressed a lot of the art and culture, which included Odissi. But then when India got its independence back, a lot of that was reborn, so that was good.
So what are these dances designed to capture and convey to your audience?
Yes, so they're often storytelling dances. Because of their religious starts, a lot of the dances are based on religious stories. Hinduism has a lot of stories, and they're based on different gods and goddesses and deities, and so that's what a lot of the dances were showing.
Very interesting. What can you tell us about your teacher?
Yes, my teacher. She is my guru, as we call her, and there's a very special bond between the teacher and the student, and we actually have a specific phrase for that, which is called the Guru Shishya Parampara.
Okay.
My teacher is Jayanti Pain Ganguly, and she runs a dance school called Connaught Dance School. I first met her, I think I was around 7, and we were going to see a performance of hers at Gunston Middle School, which I lived near. We went to see one of her performances, and after that we actually got to meet her, and she told us that she actually teaches Odissi. And I'd always had an interest in that dance, so that's kind of where we started, and then I started taking lessons from her.
Great. Can you give us some background information about the music? What kinds of instruments or symbolism or significance does it have?
Yes, music, it's an integral part of Odissi because it's the backing of the dance, and so it's a lot of the experience. One thing that adds to that is if we have live musicians, which is ideal for a live performance but always isn't there. With that, we get sort of an environment that is a lot better because before the dance even starts, sometimes you can hear the musicians tuning, and it generally gives like an Indian feel to it, which adds an atmosphere to it.
What kinds of instruments do they play?
Yeah, there's many different. Some of the main ones are the bakwaj, which is a type of drum, the basuri, which is a flute. There are often string instruments like the veena or the sitar, and the cymbals, which we call the manjira.
With the BATTU dance that you just performed, what kind of a dance would you consider that to be within Odissi?
Yes, it's called a nritta. And a nritta is a very technical technical type of dance. And with the nritta, there aren't actually any lyrics or sung words, but there are what we would call a bol, which is the syllables that you hear while the dance is going on. And that helps the dancer with timing and tempo and all sorts of things. And that's actually what I'm saying in my head as I'm doing the dance, so that kind of helps me with all the movements and the different things that I have to remember. Yeah.
The next dance is called SHIVA PANCHAKA. It is a dance drama that uses facial expressions and movements to convey a specific story. This type of dance is called an abhinaya. The storytelling aspect of Odissi dance is highlighted in abhinayas. In this specific story, I am playing many different characters. There's Shiva, his wife Parvati, the god of love Kamdev, and the narrator. You can see the changes in all of these characters with my turns and spins, and even in changes in the music. The dancer uses hand gestures and foot movements, and especially their expressions, to really show the emotions that all of these characters are feeling. Traditionally, in a live performance, the dancer would come out onto the stage and they would explain the dance with their hand gestures, or as we call them, hand mudras, as the narrator explains the story. And in this performance, we have a virtual version of that so you can understand the story much better because it's quite complicated. This is what you will see next in the dance explainer video.
In this dance, Zoya will perform an abhinaya, which is an expressional piece. Mahadeva, Shiva, is the formidable god. He is with glorious matted hair and the flowing deadlocks. Shiva is the omnipotent, and when we utter his sacred name, he blesses us with salvation, the release from unending circle of life and death. His crested head is adorned by a resplendent half moon, and the sacred river Ganga flows from his head. He covers his waist with a leopard skin, and his neck and hands are enriched by snakes. Shiva, the vanquisher of mankind's enemies, with the Trishul in his Tandava form, playing incessantly the Damaru, burned Kamadeva Madana into ashes with the power of his third eye. The first line of the song says, Divya Kundala Haramujjala, the one adorned with Divya Kundala, earrings with divine luster, and the bright, shimmering necklace with radiant eyes and curly locks, from which the river Ganga flows, the one whose forehead has the third eye, and the one who holds the Trishula in his hand. O Mahadeva, please liberate me. When the five-headed god Shiva, smeared with ashes and adorned with snakes, opens his third eye, he destroys everything. This dance depicts the Kamadeva Bhasma episode, when the god of love Kamadeva hit Shiva with his arrow, breaking his deep meditation. The arrow evoked his feelings for Parvati, his wife. However, realizing that all of this was Kamadeva's doing, Shiva becomes furious at Kamadeva and breaks into a Tandava dance, ultimately opening his third eye and burning Kamadeva to ashes.
Om
Wow, your Shiva dance performance is very expressive and conveys so many emotions. And the costume for that dance is especially beautiful. Can you tell me about the costumes that you wear? Are they specifically dance performance costumes? Are they modeled on traditional temple dance attire?
Yes, the costumes are always very bright colors because that's a big thing in India is bright colors. And we get them specially made actually in Odisha because we went to Odisha to have them hand tailored to me, which was really nice. So they are a type of sari, which is a typical Indian wear that women wear. But it's a dance specific thing because you can actually tell which type of Indian classical dance you are seeing by the costume. So Odissi has these pleats in the front that, because you're always very squatted, you can see that nice array of pleats. And so that's one of the biggest ways that you can see in Odissi, you can distinguish an Odissi costume.
What are the fabrics?
They're actually pure silk. Ours are because that's very typical. Not everyone has that, but I'm lucky enough to have pure silk.
Very, very special. Yeah. How many bells do you wear on each ankle?
Yeah, I think it depends on each person and what they're comfortable with, but mine personally are 50 bells on each komru, which is what we call the bells tied around your ankles. The next dance is a short but fast-paced dance called MOKSHA. MOKSHA is the final dance piece of an Odissi dance repertoire. The fast rhythmic sequence illustrates the fast tempo of life. This is followed by a slow invocation of the goddess Narayani. Moksha traditionally means spiritual liberation. This is shown at the end of the dance, where the dancer reaches nirvana, which is spiritual liberation or a release of the soul. After that, you can see me talking more about myself and my journey as a dancer, so I hope you will stick around for that.
Wow, your moksha performance is so fast and has so many turns, what we would call pirouettes in ballet. But I think in Odissi dance you call it tramai.
Yep.
So how do you learn? Do you study on your own? Do you take it in classes? Tell me about that process.
When I was younger, we started off with these big group classes, and that was really good because you had all these friends to learn with, and it was really fun to go to classes. But then once you get more serious about it, it's harder to actually learn in big group classes. So we started to do one-on-one classes, and that really helped focus on technique and really specific stuff that I had to focus on.
Who does your choreography?
Originally, these big dances that people learn all over the world, like BATTU and SHIVA and all of these, it was composed by Keluchan Mohapatra, who is an esteemed Odissi dancer. But for my Munch Pravesh and all of these dances, my teacher actually re-choreographed them for me specifically.
So they're originals?
Yeah, they are.
There you go. Does your family have a tradition of dance? Did either of your grandmothers or any of your aunts or cousins dance?
No, I don't think dancing was a big thing before me. I'm the first dancer. But we have always been artists. So my great-grandmother actually she's almost 95 now, and she has always been into things like singing. She was a big singer, and she had a singing group when she was younger.
Oh.
Yeah, and she also played the harmonium, which was really impressive. Yeah. She also really likes crocheting, which we have a lot of different things that she's crocheted around the house, which is cool.
Have you trained in other forms of Indian classical dance like Bharatanatyam? And if so, or if not, what was it about Odissi dance in particular that appealed to you?
I never was taught any other types of dance, but I think that was because Odissi always had a special place in my heart, because when I was younger, I had this DVD of another esteemed dancer called Sujata Mohapatra, and I had a Bharatanatyam DVD and I had an Odissi DVD, and I always really liked the Odissi DVD, and I played that a lot more. And so I think that's where my love for Odissi started, and that's really why I wanted to learn Odissi.
So when did you become serious in your study and practice of dance, Zoya? What made you decide to become serious in your study and practice of dance?
Yeah, I think my Munch Pravesh was a big turning point, because that was something that I really had to get serious for, and to start getting serious for that, we actually went to Odisha, which is the birthplace, as I mentioned, and that was a really unique opportunity because I got to see all of this, like where everything had started, and so that was really unique. One thing I especially remember was we went to a dance festival, and there was this one performance where there were these two girls who were mirroring each other, and they were doing it like flawlessly, where they were just completely in sync, and I think that was something that I really enjoyed watching, and I think that's what I aspire to be even today.
Wow. So that then brings us to the question, what are your future plans or dreams or goals, and how might dance fit in with those ideas?
Yeah, I think for the future, one of the big things is this YouTube channel that I've created, Beauty of Odissi, because I think this is a great platform to spread Odissi and Indian culture and generally a lot of different things that I don't think a lot of people know about, and I think it's a really beautiful dance, and Indian culture has so many different things in it, and I would really love to talk more about that and give you more content like that. So.
Well, I wish you all the best. It's been wonderful seeing your dances and your costumes and your hair, and everything is just so beautiful. So thank you for doing this performance for all of us.
Thank you for hosting it with me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for watching Beauty of Odissi, an Indian classical dance event. We hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something new. I quickly want to thank my co-host, Kathy Laird, and Kayla Redman of City of Alexandria Office of the Arts for putting all of this together. Also, if you enjoyed this performance and want to rewatch it, this will become a regular YouTube video on the channel Beauty of Odissi. If you want to see more content like this, I'll be putting up more videos on Beauty of Odissi, so please consider subscribing because that would really help me out. Thank you!